High-income ETFs have become extremely popular over the last few years, and covered call ETFs in particular have become core holdings in many investors' portfolios. These funds sell call options on their underlying holdings to generate premium income, which is then distributed to investors as a dividend yield, typically in the 10 to 12% range. But now we're starting to see high-income ETFs shift toward maximizing growth potential as well. Today, we're covering an ETF that has attempted to revolutionize the covered call strategy itself in an effort to maximize both income and growth potential. Since inception, the ETF has managed to outperform its underlying index, the QQQ, and the S&P 500, while also outperforming many high-income ETF peers by a large margin. And the craziest part is that this ETF provides a dividend yield of over 17% that is distributed every single month. Now, when it comes to maximizing income potential, ETFs with exceptionally high yields often suffer from NAV decay, and you can see the difference when you compare total return versus price return. Total return reflects both capital appreciation and dividend distributions, while price return excludes dividends and only tracks the movement of the ETF's NAV. If price return is trending heavily downward over time, that is a clear sign of NAV decay. However, today's ETF appears to have a very strong and smart management structure. Despite distributing such an insanely high yield, historically, its NAV has remained relatively steady. And to be honest, I am very impressed with the results so far. Of course, past performance does not guarantee future results. And this brings me to TDAQ, which is the Tap Alpha Innovation 100 High Income ETF. This ETF has been getting a lot of attention over the past few months, and rightfully so, because its total return profile is actually extremely impressive. Now, before we dive into how this fund works, and before I give you my honest opinion, let's first start with the fundamentals so that you can get a better understanding of the ETF. TDAQ was established in September of 2025, so it is extremely new and has only been around for about 6 months. Despite that, the fund has already accumulated over $150 million in assets under management. And with an expense ratio of just 0.68%, it's actually quite reasonable, especially considering the ETF's massive yield. Now, with newer funds, skepticism is warranted. In general, it's always best to see a strong historical performance before even considering buying into an ETF. That said, the fundamental strategy here isn't wildly new, but the ETF has created a very interesting combination of a unique high-income structure with a relatively simple framework, which is why the fund stands out to me. When you look at the holdings breakdown, you'll see that it mirrors the Nasdaq 100, the QQQ. So when comparing TDAQ to other ETFs in its category, we need to look at funds that sell calls on the QQQ as well, such as QQQI, GPIQ, JEPQ, and others. Now, what's very interesting is that since inception, TDAQ has actually slightly outperformed the QQQ and pulled ahead of peers like QQQI and GPIQ. But it holds the same stocks and uses a covered call strategy. So how has it managed to outperform? Well, TDAQ uses 0 DTE covered calls, and 0 DTE simply means 0 days to expiration. So this ETF sells call options on the QQQ that expire the same day they are sold. The goal is to harvest as much income as possible on a daily basis. Unlike its peers that sell monthly or weekly options, TDAQ harvests premium every single day while still participating in the QQQ's upside. This daily flexibility is key to the fund's strategy, but it brings a unique set of pros and cons that you must understand. You see, TDAQ is still tied to the QQQ, which is heavily market cap weighted. And right now, big tech has come under pressure in the last few months, but not all tech stocks have suffered the same selling pressure. And this is why I look for companies that portray strong momentum characteristics to complement my core ETF holdings to help boost total return potential. And this is exactly where tools like Investing Pro, powered by investing.com, comes in. One of its most unique features is ProPicks AI and its momentum-based portfolios. For example, the Tech Titans portfolio is up almost 44% over the last year, while the S&P 500 is up around 13%. And over the past 5 years, this portfolio is up 223% as opposed to the S&P 500's 87%. Now, of course, past performance is not a guarantee of future results, and this is not financial advice. Apart from Tech Titans, there are many other portfolios like the mid-cap portfolio that is up 43% in the last year, or even Korean market leaders, which is up over 120% in the last year. But what I really like is the transparency. You can see exactly when stocks are added, when the portfolio is scheduled to rebalance, and you get in-depth data-backed analysis through their Pro Research tab. These proprietary momentum-driven portfolios are something I lean on consistently to complement my long-term holdings. So if you've been thinking about upgrading your research tools, this is a great time to grab Investing Pro, and you can use my link below to grab 15% off. And of course, beyond the portfolios, the platform is loaded with features. You can track hedge fund positions from investors like Warren Buffett and Bill Ackman, use advanced stock filters, and access powerful valuation models. So if you're interested, make sure you check out the link below and grab your 15% off discount site-wide. Huge thanks to investing.com for sponsoring this segment. And now let's get back to the TDAQ breakdown. Now, why use daily expiring options? Because the fund managers are attempting to capitalize on theta decay, which is the natural loss of value in option contracts over time. The closer an option gets to expiration, the faster theta decay accelerates. And with zero DTE options, decay happens extremely rapidly because the contracts expire the same day. Now, we're often told that theta decay is bad for options, and if you're purchasing options, whether calls or puts, that is true. When you buy an option, your goal is to sell it at a higher price. If theta decay is eating into that value, it reduces your profit potential. But when you're selling option, it is the opposite. If I sell an option for $100, my goal is to buy that option back for less, let's say $10, locking in a $90 profit. In this case, theta decay works in your favor because it reduces the value of the contract that you sold and increases the likelihood of capturing that premium. Now, here's where things get really interesting. We've already seen zero DTE high income ETFs emerge. Funds like QDTE, XDTE, and others have gathered significant assets. However, many of them suffer from NAV decay. When a fund promises extremely high yields of 30% or even 40% and fails to generate enough premium income to cover distributions, managers may have to dip into NAV to maintain payouts. Over time, that can erode total portfolio value. TDAQ, on the other hand, has not experienced significant NAV decay so far. In fact, it has remained relatively flat over the past 6 months. This is a critical distinction. First, while 70% is very high, it is nowhere near the 30 to 40% yield some other funds advertise, which I personally find excessive. And secondly, TDAQ actually holds the underlying asset, the QQQ itself. That may sound obvious, but some zero DTE funds like QDTE do not hold the underlying index directly. Instead, they rely heavily on long-dated call options known as LEAPs. I'll explain what these are in another video. But using LEAPs allows funds to maintain exposure with less upfront capital. However, options still suffer from theta decay. TDAQ avoids that structure. It simply holds the QQQ and overlays daily expiring call options to generate income. So far, the managers have done an impressive job. At one point, the fund outperformed QQQI by roughly 6%, which is significant. But again, past performance does not guarantee future results. Now, a major benefit of this structure is participation in pre-market and after-hours moves. Traditional covered call ETFs sell options with 2-week or 30-day expirations, and that cap remains in place the entire time. So if the market gaps up 2% overnight, the ETF may already be capped, limiting total returns. With zero DTE strategies, the cap only applies during regular market hours, 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., and that allows participation in overnight moves without being capped. Another major benefit, in my opinion, is during high volatility or sideways markets. By harvesting income every single day, the ETF can capitalize on elevated volatility in the options market and potentially collect higher premiums, which can add up significantly over time. Remember, higher volatility increases option premiums, and this is a relationship known as vega. This structure could potentially outperform traditional covered call ETFs, which lock in their income potential 2 weeks or even 30 days in advance when volatility may not be as elevated. That said, there are downsides to this ETF. And the biggest risk, in my opinion, is during sudden V-shaped market recoveries. If managers sell calls at open and the market suddenly rallies on unexpected news, such as tariff relief, policy shifts, or positive data, the fund could miss out on that sharp intraday recovery. We saw this during the April sell-off last year. When Trump delayed global tariffs, markets rebounded nearly 10% in a single day. And zero DTE funds that had sold calls that morning missed much of that move. but regular covered call ETFs like QQQI or GPIQ didn't have this problem. Now, this is an extreme case, and managers are generally skilled at navigating these situations, but it's a risk when a strategy depends heavily on daily execution, essentially functioning like an institutional day trader. However, remember that TDAQ maintains continued exposure to the QQQ. If managers choose not to sell calls on a particular day, participation will closely resemble the QQQ itself. All right, now let's talk risk management. In my opinion, high-income ETFs should serve two purposes, and that is to generate income and to help dampen volatility. Funds like QQQI or JPIQ often reduce downside volatility by roughly 3 to 4% compared to the QQQ because of their structural design. TDAQ, however, may not provide the same level of downside dampening because calls are sold daily and income collected is limited to that day's premium. The risk management element may be weaker during prolonged downturns. So here's my take. TDAQ is so far a high-income machine. In a bull market, it has the potential to outperform both the QQQ and its high-income peers. In a sideways, high-volatility market, I believe it could shine as well. However, in a sustained downward trend, I don't think it will offer the same defensive qualities as peers like JPIQ. Of course, the fund is still very new, and I'm very curious to see how it will perform over a full market cycle. And that is all for this one. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye! This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not financial, investment, tax, or legal advice. Discussions of ETFs, investing strategies, market updates, or specific funds are general, not tailored to your financial situation, and should not be relied upon for decision making. Investing involves significant risks, including total loss of principal, and past performance does not guarantee future results. I am not a registered financial advisor. My content reflects personal research and publicly available information. I may earn affiliate commissions from mentioned products or links disclosed per FTC guidelines, but these do not influence my opinions. Always consult a licensed financial professional and verify information independently. By watching this, you agree I am not liable for any losses or consequences from your actions. International viewers should consult local regulations.